there, everyone. It's Mrs. Asaro here with another First Chapter Friday. I'm really excited to bring this book to you. I know I say that a lot. I get very enthusiastic about my books, and this one is no exception. It is one that I have read many, many times, and my sixth graders to this day still love it. This book was actually written in 1984, which was the year I graduated from high school. And it has been around for a long time. This is the 25th anniversary edition of it. It's much older than that now, actually. It's written by Sandra Cisneros, and it is The House on Mango Street. I know you're going to love this book. I think it's particularly great for September, which is Hispanic Heritage Month, and it's really great for any time of the year. So I'm going to read the first couple of chapters because they're quite short. There's actually a very long introduction at the beginning of this book, and so I'm going to skip that. I am going to read the back of the jacket to give you a little bit of an overview. Acclaimed by critics, beloved by readers of all ages, taught everywhere from grade schools to universities across the country, and translated all over the world, The House on Mango Street is the remarkable story of Esperanza Cordero, told in a series of vignettes, sometimes heartbreaking, sometimes deeply joyous, is the story of a young Latina girl growing up in Chicago, inventing for herself who and what she will become. Few other books in our time have touched so many readers. So let's take a look. It's set up table of contents like this. Lengthy introduction, which I recommend that you read if you take this book out to read. And then the chapters are kind of short. If you look here, it's just a couple of pages. So I would like to read you that one and the second one as well. Okay. Sorry, before we get started, I want to make sure that you have your First Chapter Friday sheet. It is free. I'll make sure that I link it in the video description so that you can grab it. It's a great way to keep track of the books that you're hearing about. And then when you need another read, you can flip back and see what looks good to you. Okay, so be sure to grab that. And a great place to keep that would be in your reader's notebook. So chapter 1 is called The House on Mango Street. We didn't always live on Mango Street. Before that, we lived on Loomis on the third floor, and before that, we lived on Keeler. Before Keeler, it was Paulina, and before that, I can't remember. But what I can remember most is moving a lot. Each time it seemed there'd be one more of us. By the time we got to Mango Street, we were 6. Mama, Papa, Carlos, Kiki, my sister Nenny, and me. The house on Mango Street is ours, and we don't have to pay rent to anybody or share the yard with the people downstairs or be careful not to make too much noise, and there isn't a landlord banging on the ceiling with a broom. But even so, it's not the house we thought we'd get. We had to leave the flat on Loomis quick. The water pipes broke and the landlord wouldn't fix it because the house was too old. We had to leave fast. We were using the washroom next door and carrying water over in empty milk gallons. That's why Mama and Papa looked for a house, and that's why we moved into the house on Mango Street, far away on the other side of town. They always told us that one day we would move into a real house that would be ours for always so we wouldn't have to move each year. And our house would have running water and pipes that worked, and inside it would have real stairs, not hallway stairs, but stairs inside, like the houses on TV. And we'd have a basement and at least 3 washrooms, so when we took a bath, we wouldn't have to tell everybody. Our house would be white with trees around it, a great big yard and grass growing without a fence. This was the house Papa talked about when he held a lottery ticket, and this was the house Mama dreamed up in the stories she told us before we went to bed. But the house on Mango Street is not the way they told it at all. It's small and red with tight steps in front and windows so small you'd think they were holding their breath. Bricks are crumbling in places, and the front door is so swollen you have to push hard to get in. There is no front yard, only four little elms the city planted by the curb. Out back is a small garage for the car we don't own yet, and a small yard that looks smaller between the two buildings on either side. There are stairs in our house, but they're ordinary hallway stairs, and the house has only one washroom. Everybody has to share a bedroom. Mama and Papa, Carlos and Kiki, and me and Nenny. Once, when we were living on Loomis, a nun from my school passed by and saw me playing out front. The laundromat downstairs had been boarded up because it had been robbed 2 days before, and the owner had painted on the wood, "Yes, we're open," so as not to lose business. "Where do you live?" she asked. "There," I said, pointing up to the third floor. "You live there?" "There." I had to look to where she pointed. The third floor, paint peeling, wooden bars Papa had nailed on the window so we wouldn't fall out. "You live there?" The way she said it made me feel like nothing. "There. I lived there." I nodded. I knew then I had to have a house, a real house, one I could point to, but this isn't it. The house on Mango Street isn't it. For the time being, Mama says. Temporary, says Papa. But I know how those things go. Okay, I want to read you Hairs, which is really short. Everybody in our family has different hair. My papa's hair is like a broom all up in the air. And me, my hair is lazy. It never obeys barrettes or bands. Carlos's hair is thick and straight. He doesn't need to comb it. Nenny's hair is slippery, slides out of your hand. And Kiki, who is the youngest, has hair like fur. But my mother's hair, like little rosettes, like little candy circles, all curly and pretty because she pinned it in pin curls all day. Sweet to put your nose into when she is holding you. Holding you and you feel safe is the warm smell of bread before you bake it. Is the smell when she makes room for you on her side of the bed, still warm with her skin, and you sleep near her, the rain outside falling and Papa snoring, the rain, and Mama's hair that smells like bread. I'll do one more called Boys and Girls. The boys and girls live in separate worlds. The boys in their universe and we in ours. My brothers, for example. They've got plenty to say to me and Nenny inside the house, but outside, they can't be seen talking to girls. Carlos and Kiki are each other's best friend, not ours. Nenny is too young to be my friend. She's just my sister, and that was not my fault. You don't pick your sisters, you just get them, and sometimes they come like Nenny. She can't play with those Vargas kids or she'll turn out just like them. And since she comes right after me, she is my responsibility. Someday I will have a best friend all my own, one I can tell my secrets to, one who will understand my jokes without my having to explain them. Until then, I am a balloon tied to an anchor. And that is the first 3 chapters of The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I know that you'll really be interested in this one. I hope you'll take some time to check it out at your local library. Just for your information, my library did not have this book, but when I asked for it, they can reach out to neighboring libraries and they ordered it for me no problem. So if you're ever looking for a book, you might want to keep that in mind. Okay. Uh, Thank you for joining me here on First Chapter Friday. If there is a book that you would like to see featured on my channel, please just drop me a note in the comments and I will do my best to make it happen. Until then, I'll see you next Friday and happy reading.